This is Juliana, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really richly beautiful Dark Fae bracelet. This is a part of a series, Dark Fae necklace and Dark Fae earrings, that I made using the Eureka Crystal Love Spell collection. I will put pictures of those up, and the tutorials for those too are available on my YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and get into materials. As I said, the materials I used to create this came from the Eureka Love Spells collection. But you know, these are fairly common beads. You may have them in your stash already. You can also pick them up from your favorite supplier. We're going to start with this beautiful button. Yeah, I don't know if you could pick this up anywhere but Eureka, but it's a fabulous enamel button. I just thought it was so pretty. And then 4 of the 8mm Chatons. And there were 3 sizes of Firepolish, the 6mm, the 3mm, and the 2mm. 3mm bicones. These are Chinese rondelles. And these seed beads all came in a mix, so two different colors of 11-ohs and 2 different colors of 15-ohs. I also used a 6-pound Fireline smoke. And about, I think mostly I used a size 11 needle. It got a little tight in places. Wouldn't be bad to have a 12 on hand, but I got by with my 11. And I believe that is it. I don't think I'm missing anything, so let's get started. We're going to start by bezeling this beautiful 8mm crystal. Absolutely love this color. And I have a wingspan of thread on, but you really don't need that much. You'll have a lot left over. I'm going to use the leftovers to connect the pieces together, but you could just use, if you don't want to do that, you want to use different thread, a new thread to connect your pieces, you could probably get away with about 3 feet of thread. And I have added 18 11-ohs to my needle. I'll slide those down. Leave about a 5-inch tail thread, something you can weave back in, and then I'm going to go through all of them again. Hold on to that tail thread because I don't have a stop bead on. You can use a stop bead if you want to. When I get back to the tail, I'm going to go through a couple more. You have that little circle. And we pick up an 11-oh. Coming out of that bead right there, I'm going to go back through the same bead and the one in front of it. $11.0. Coming out of that bead, going back through the same bead and the one in front of it. $11.0. Coming out of that bead, going through the same bead, other side, and the one in front of it. We're going to do that all the way around. Coming up to my last 11-oh, got one on the needle. Coming out of this 11-oh here, I'm going back through the other side of it and through a couple of more. Now I'm going to turn this over and go through, I'm coming out of this bottom 11-oh right here. I'm going to go through a couple of these, 3, 4 of these 11-ohs. Kind of start pulling them up a little. And we're going to go through all of them. That one's kind of laying down. Kind of pull them as you go a little bit snug. And coming around to the top where I started, I'm going to go through a few more. And then pull it all tight. And you're going to get this little ring. A little double banded ring here. Now I'm coming out of this bead right here. I'm going to pick up a 15-0 and go back through the other side of that same bead and through the one in front of it. 15-0 coming out of this bead, going through that same bead from behind and the one in front of it. 15-0 coming out of this bead, going through the same bead and the one in front of it. And once again, we're going to do this all the way around. And you just kind of want to make sure they're situated right on here. They're kind of standing up on the bead. And we'll be back. I'm on my last 15-0, got it loaded on my needle. Coming out of this, I think that's one of my cat hairs. Coming out of this 11-0 right here and going through the next and a couple after that. I went ahead and put a needle on my tail thread to get rid of that. If you already know how to do that, you can skip this part. I'll timestamp it. And then timestamp the next step, bezel continued, or continuation of the bezel, or something along that line. I'm coming out of this 11-0 right here. I'm going to go into the one above it, maybe two above it. Come back down, the two below it. I'm going to go through four, apparently. Because it really doesn't matter how many you go through. You want to go through some beads. And I don't know if this is entirely necessary, but I'm going to do a half hitch here. I mean, it could be if you go back and forth through it a couple of times, it'll knot in there. But I just want to give it a little added security. So I'm just going to tie a couple of half hitches here along the way. Through a bread thread, through the loop, pull tight. One more. Under the thread bridge. If I could talk today, that would help. Pull it through the loop it makes. Pull it tight. I'm going to go through a couple more and then get rid of this thread. Back to our working thread. Coming out of this 11-0, I'm going to go up through the 15-0s, and just like we did the 11-0s, I'm going to go through all of them and start pulling them toward the center. Coming to where I started now, I'm going to go through several more beads. put my thumb on there and get everything a good tug. So you have a nice little ring, like that. And then I'm coming out of this bead right here. I'm going to work my way to the bead down below it. Maybe a couple. If you can only get one, that's fine too. We're just going to work our way to the bottom, so I'm going to flip this over. Coming out of this 11, now I'm going to go to the one below it. Maybe a couple. Whatever I can get through easily, honestly. And we're going to do the exact same thing on this side that we did on that side. So put all your 15 O's on, coming out of that bead, through these two. Going back into the bead I'm coming out of and the one in front of it. We're going to do this. I always lose my piece somewhere along the line. I'm going to add these 15 O's on the bottom side, just like we did the other side. And before we tighten it, before we put our cinch in and tighten it, we are going to sit our crystal in there. Pop it in. Make sure it's sitting right. You don't have to. You could do it now if you wanted to and hold it in, but you don't have to. You can go ahead and put all these on, and then when you get ready to cinch it tight, that's when you need to make sure you have your crystal in there. And then we'll be back. Okay, this is what you should have. And I have a tail thread on here, and I'm going to leave it. You can, if you want to, go ahead and tie off your tail thread and start afresh when we start connecting things. I always leave a tail thread in case I want to connect with it. And I usually end up wasting a little thread, but that's okay. So you'll need 4 of these little pieces. And we'll be back. Okay, we're going to work on this little piece next, the Chaton. And we're just going to build this on out. So I threaded my tail thread that I had on here. If you don't have any tail thread, you could add some thread. I have about maybe 2 feet of thread on this needle. And I'm coming out of this top 15-0, which is where I left off on this piece. And I'm just going to go down to the one below it. And I might go through 1 or 2, just whatever's easy. 2 in this case. And then go down to this bottom row. The bead adjacent to the bead I'm coming out of. And again, go through whatever's easy. Okay, I'm coming out of this 11-0 right there. I'm going to pick up an 8-0, and I'm going through the other side of that same 11-0, and then I'm going to go through 4 more beads. Well, 3 more beads, so 4 altogether. Kind of stand that little soldier up. Pick up an 8-0. Coming out of this bead right here. Going to go through the other side of it. And again through 3 more beads, so 4 altogether. Eight-0 through the other side of the bead I'm coming out of, and 3 more. We're going to do that all the way around. I'm on my last 8-0 here. I've got it on the thread, going through the other side of the bead I'm coming out of, and going through the next 4. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, one of the Chinese crystals, and an 11-0. Oh, wait. I get ahead of myself sometimes. Go ahead and flip your piece over and go through that 8-0 that you're right below. Then pick up your 11-0 crystal 11-0 and go through the next 8-0. Crystal 11-0 and through the next 8-0. We're going to do that all the way around. I'm up on the last crystal set and going through the 8-0, through that crystal and the 11-0, if you can get all that. I'm going to go ahead and go through the next set as well, just to kind of tighten things up a little. Give it a little tug. Then we're going to pick up 2 15-0s. Pick up 2 15-0s and go to the next 11-0 on the other side of the 8-0. And you can go through that whole trio there, the 11-0s and the crystal. Pick up 2 15-0s, go through the next 11-0, and that whole little trio. We're going to do that all the way around. Coming up to my last 2 15-0s, coming out of that 11-0, going into the next and through the trio, the 11-0, crystal 11-0. And I'm going to go up in between those 2 15-0s that I just added. And then we're going to pick up a 15-0 and go down the next 15-0 through the trio and up that next 15-0. Pick up a 15-0, go down the next 15-0 through the trio and the first 15-0 of that pair over the 8-0. And we are going to do that all the way around. Coming up to my last 15-0, coming out of this 15-0 here, I'm going to go into the next. Go ahead on through that 11-0, crystal 11-0. Then right down through the 8-0 below it. Forgive my hands, I have black smudge from the smoke fire line, and I have a feral kittens I'm taking care of, and they're just eating me alive. So, all right, coming out of that 8-0, going down to the 11-0 right below it. Pick up a 15-0. You're coming out of that 11-0. We're going to go to the other side of it and through 4 more beads till we're coming out in front of the bead, in front of this 8-0 right here. Bicone. Coming out of this side of this 11-0, go back to the other side, through the next 4 beads to the next 11-0 in front of that black 8-0. We're going to do that all the way around. This is my last bicone going through to the 4 11-0s to in front of that first bicone. Then I'm going to come up through the bicone. We're going to come up through the bicone together. And pick up I'm picking up, excuse me, a dark 15-0, a 2mm Firepolish, and a dark 15-0, and going into the next crystal. Dark 15-0, 2mm Firepolish, dark 15-0, into the next crystal. We're going to do that all the way around. And my last 15-0, Firepolish 15-0, going into that crystal. And I'm going to go through just the 15-0 next to it. And we're going to pick up a 15-0. I'm doing the gold this time. Coming out of that little 15-0, the little dark one, and going into the Chinese crystal behind it. Pick up a gold 15-0. Coming out of that Chinese crystal, going to the 15-0 next to the Firepolish. We're going to go through that, the bicone, and the next 15-0. Pick up a gold 15-0 into the Chinese rondelle. I can get in there. $15.00. Back down to the next $15.00. Bicone $15.00. We are going to do that all the way around. Coming up on my last 15-0, I'm coming out of that Chinese crystal. I'm going through this 15-0 bicone 15-0. Now I'm just going to leave this thread right here so I can connect some things. And I do have a fair amount of thread left. You could probably get away with 3/4 of a wingspan on this little piece of the bracelet component. We're going to make 3 of these, 3 more of these, so 4 total, because that's how many bicones we have. And right now we're going to move on to the next little component, and then I will show you how to attach them. So if you want, if you're a person that likes to add your components separately with new thread, you can go ahead and tie this off. But if you're somebody like me who likes to keep working with that same thread, just leave it for now. 3 more of these, and then we're going to move on to the next component. We're going to make this little unit right here. And I put about 2 feet of thread on my needle, and I have on here 4 of the Chinese rondelles and 4 of the 3mm Firepolish. I'm going to slide those down, leave about a 4-inch tail or so, just something I can weave in, And we're going to tie a knot. I'm going to go through a couple of beads and through one of the rondelles. And pick up one of the 6mm Firepolish coming out of that side of the rondelle. I'm going to skip to the opposite side of the ring here and go through the other side of that rondelle. Back up through the Firepolish. And we have one side of this rondelle connected to the Firepolish. We're going to go through the other side of the rondelle. And then we're going to pick up 3 11-ohs and go through the next rondelle. 3 11-ohs, next rondelle. 3 11-ohs, rondelle, 3 11-ohs, and the final rondelle. And then up through 2 of those 11-ohs. And we're going to pick up 3 15-ohs coming out of that middle 11-oh right there of that trio. Go to the next trio, just the middle 11-oh. I'm going to push that to the top and pull it toward the rondelle. 3 11-ohs coming out of that middle one, go to the next middle one. Push it toward the top. Am I calling these 11-ohs? These are 15-ohs. 3 15-ohs, next 11-oh. And I ran out of my 15-ohs. Just be right back. And I'm back. 3 15-ohs. That last middle 11-oh. We're going to go through all of these beads 2 or 3 more times. I'd say 2 more times, not 3. It's going to get very tight if you do 3. 2 more times, and then I will just, the 11-ohs and the 15-ohs, I'll meet you back here. I've tightened everything up, and I'm coming out of this middle 11-oh right there. I'm going to go down to the next 11-oh. Pick up 2 15-ohs. And turn it this way so we can see better. Coming out of that 11-oh, I'm going to go right into the Firepolish. And pull that snug. And you want to make sure that kind of frames that Firepolish. Doesn't get wacky on you. That's not a 15-oh. 2 15-ohs. Come out of the Firepolish. Go right back through those 2 11-ohs. Make sure you're kind of framing your Firepolish there a little bit. Coming out of that middle 11 I'm going to go back down through this 11 and into the rondelle and through the next fire polish. And then pick up 2 15-0s, coming out of the fire polish on this side. Go back up through your 11-0s. Back down the next 11-0. Pick up 2 15-0s. Go back through the fire polish. Make sure they're sitting right. Go through the next rondelle fire polish. Then we're going to repeat just what we just did. 2 15-0s up through here, down there. 2 15-0s through the fire polish, rondelle. Well, you'll be coming out of that fire polish through the rondelle and fire polish and do the 15-0s again. And we'll be back. I have finished putting my 15-0s on and went ahead and cut off, did some half hitches and got rid of my tail thread. I didn't have to do half hitches. We did already knot it, but I always do a couple more just to be safe. And then my working thread here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this on. I like to just leave them on in case I need them. If you want to get rid of it, you can just tie some half hitches and get rid of it. If you want to keep it on like I do, I usually do some half hitches around the piece. And that way, if I connect it to another piece and for some reason I need to redo connections, or if I'm adding it to the clasp and I need to redo the clasp, I can just cut that connection or clasp off and my unit still stands alone because I have completed the knotting of it inside. We are going to need 5 of these units and we'll be back. We are ready to connect this unit to this unit. So I don't know where you're coming out. Your thread is coming out on this unit if you're starting a new thread or if we left off, but I am coming out of this little black 15-0 right here, and I'm going to just go right down to the 11-0. And this is right on one side of your Chinese crystal. So you've got your fire polish above it, this little 15-0, and then the golden 15-0 below it right in front of your Chinese crystal. And then I'm going to pick up a 15-0, and a fire polish, and I'm going to go right down into, trying to get my bearings here, coming out of this right side of the, let's just call it the bottom side of this Chinese crystal. So I also want to come out of the bottom side of this fire polish. And I'm going to go right up through those 2 framing 15-0s. And then through the 11-0s. If I can get through there, things are kind of snug at this point. Down through the 3rd 11-0. I do want to mention too that you want to make sure that your the top of your little small unit and the top of your larger unit are on the same side here. Don't have them flipped. Like this side doesn't have any of our pretty decoration up here. embellishments, so you don't want these two together. Ask me why I'm telling you I've done that about 1,000,000 times. So I'm coming now out of this 11-0. I think I actually went through the 15-0. I'm going to go through the second 15-0. And pick up a Firepolish and a 15-0. And then go right back up through this 15-0 opposite the one we came out of. You got a 15-0 gold and a 15-0 black or dark brown, I guess. You're going to go through that gold. And you can go ahead and go through the black one too. And your connection should look like that. Now what we're going to do is just go through that circuit again a couple of times, just to strengthen it. So back through your Firepolish. Back through this 15-0. A little black one, if you can get in there. Pull everything snug. Back through this 2 15-0s and your Firepolish, and up through the 2 Firepolish on the other side. And then through your 11-0s. Now I'm going to do that one more time, just to be sure it's a strong connection. And we're going to add all of our larger components and smaller components like that. And then we will be back to add the clasp. I have finished with all of my connections. And now I'm going to go ahead and put on this beautiful button bead for the clasp. So I have added to my thread, which was already connected to my last piece here. I've added 2 11-0s, a 2mm Firepolish, and 8 11-0s. And I'm coming out of opposite where the connection is, this Firepolish here, coming out of these 2 15-0s. Move that so we can see. I'm going to go ahead and go through the shank. And then through the 2mm Firepolish again. And pick up 2 11-0s. We're coming out of those 2 15-0s. We're going to go back up through these 2 on the opposite side of that Firepolish. Now we're just going to go through these 3 11-0s. Might have to do them one at a time, I don't know. This is a little tight. Pull it snug. Through the other side of that 11-0. I'm trying to catch those 2 15-0s. And then back through all all the beads we just added. And you can see this turned into a little figure 8, so I'm going to go through that figure 8, back through here, and probably through that figure 8 one more time, just to keep this secure. And then we'll be back. I got the button on, and I've sewed it until it's secure, and I went ahead and went through some of these beads and tied some half hitches and then tied off my thread. Now we're ready to go to the other side, and you're going to be coming out of, again, I used a thread I already had, but whether you're doing that or rethreading, you're going to be coming out of these two 15-0s right here at the bottom, again opposite your Firepolish that's connected. And on your threads, you're going to add 2 11-0s, a 2mm Firepolish, and 25 11-0s. I used the brown. If you'd rather use the gold, you can do that. And these beads are pretty uniform, but there's some that aren't exactly the same size, so you may want to play with it when you put it on and make sure your button it's going to fit over it snugly, not too loose so that it just falls off, but not so tight that you can't get it on. So we're going to go back down through that Firepolish, pick up 2 more 11-0s, coming out of this side with the 15-0s. Going to go back up the opposite side of that Firepolish. And then you'll want to kind of pull this thread pretty taut, and try your button just to make sure it can get on there, but it's not so loose that it's just going to come flying out of there. And again, we're going to go through that loop 3 or 4 times to secure it. You know, back down through the 11-0s and the 15-0s, and then through your loops 3 or 4 times. And then we'll be back. Okay, I've reinforced this a couple of times, and I'm coming out of my little 2s down here. I'm getting ready to do some half hitches and tie it off. I just want to check one final time now that I've put it through a couple of tightening phases. And it's pretty snug, but it gets through, and I feel like it's pretty secure. And you can tweak this however you want. If you feel like you need a couple more beads, put a couple more beads. If you like less, put less. But I feel like it's on there pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and go through some beads, tie some half hitches, and tie off this thread. And there's the bracelet. If you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more like it, hit the notification bell. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me to build this channel and keep making these videos. If you like, please hit the like button. I don't know if I already said that. If you have any beady friends, share it with them. And I hope to see you soon for the next video. Thank you. Bye.